Guys, hello. I know I said I was going to show you the good of Stoke. I'm really sorry to say this is not it, I'm afraid, guys. That is definitely not going to be the good of Stoke. But we are going to show you some good parts, all right? And I was a season ticket holder for many years, so I can definitely say that. Guys, hello. I've just got home and I've done a bit of research because one of the things in the video was pretty interesting to me. It was the fact that the church that I thought was a church had been turned into an Islamist centre. I wasn't wrong. St Peter's Church it was called in the Westlands, and so I didn't imagine the carol singing all those years ago with the children. It says here in 2022 that a group of doctors from Royal Stoke Hospital had basically put some plans in to turn it into an Islamist centre. I presume it wasn't being used. £8,000 had been raised so far. They needed 250,000. Comments from the local people here were, Peter Herbert said, "It is great to see a disused building being invested in and repurposed. Well done to all concerned." Jane Dew says, "Surely a place built for prayer and contemplation is far better used for that rather than standing empty. A call to prayer is no more intrusive than a peal of bells or a single bell." What do you think, guys? What do you think in the comments? Let me know, and I'll let you get onto the video. But it is at the end of the video if you don't want to watch the rest of it. But it was meant to be a positive video about Stoke, of course, and it still should be. I was just showing you how I came to be in Stoke and how our family started here, really. YouTube, why are we here today? We are in Lincoln Avenue, Clayton. Some of you may know it pretty well. I've had a few comments now that have said, why are you commenting on the bad of Stoke and not always the good? There are lots of good parts. You're quite right, there is, which is why we're here today. This is, for me, where I started my time in Stoke-on-Trent. I bought a house down this road in about 2008, and ever since there I've pretty much been here. But I used to love Newcastle, Clayton and all the surrounding areas, and I thought, well, what a best place or better place to start the video today about Newcastle than here, where it all started for me and my family. Beautiful road. So guys, I'm cheating a little bit today because I'm in a rush. I've got a course to go to and I've just finished work, so I'm trying to fit this in on the way. Basically, we used to live just over here behind me, and we used to walk through to the shops which are here. It says 85 Secret Garden, so I can only assume that since those days they've turned it into some sort of pub. It says bars, cocktails, live music, which is interesting. It was just a shop that my kids and I used to walk to get ice creams and stuff in the summer before, but this is what it is now, and I'll show you the front in a second. It's quite early, guys. It's 8:30 in the morning, so life's going to be a little bit different today, but we're not going anywhere sort of where I would say is towny or anything, so I'm just showing you how we started in Stoke. This wasn't here, however. How times have changed. But this little shop here that I'm about to show you used to be a TV shop when I was here. But again, we're going back sort of, how many years? 16, 17 years now. We've got a barber's and a few other things. But this one here particularly used to be a TV shoot shop with aerials and things, and they used to come out and fit satellites and stuff to your houses. Back in the day where everyone had Sky and digital. But this is the little shopping precinct that we had. There we go. And this that you can see here now used to be a little shop that we used to come to get the ice creams and stuff in the summer, or our milk in the winter, whatever we had, you know, that was where we used to come. Obviously all the shops have changed since then. Here's the Secret Garden. So they must have some sort of live music and stuff that goes on behind the scenes now. For those of you that will know Newcastle, this is Clayton Road. We're going to try and cross that, and I'm going to try and replicate the walk that I used to do with my children when they were about 2 or 3 years old. try and knacker them out at night for bed. And then we'll get onto some of what I would call the good areas of Stoke-on-Trent. There we go. Very, very frosty today, guys. It's a chilly one. Nearly got run over by a taxi there, guys. That's nice, isn't it? So this little road that we're going up here is basically where my son used to go to school as well when he first started nursery and primary school. So this is the area that we first moved to and knew. And basically after that we spent a lot of time in Newcastle Under Lyme, which is what I'm going to get onto next. And we spent a lot of time in Trentham Gardens and places like that as well. National Trust down in Biddulph Grange, Tatton Park, all those little places like that. We are on school run time, guys, so you can see a lot of cars coming down this road. I think it's mainly because of Friars Wood, which is up the road. Those of you that know the local area will know that. Lots of mums dropping their kids off, and dads, by the looks of things. Here we go. Kids Grove Care Solutions. But yeah, overnight, when my son was a bit boisterous and needed to burn off some energy, this was to be the walk that I would do. He'd only be sort of 2, 3 or 4 years old, 5 I think when we lived here. But he would do this walk comfortably and still have loads of energy left. I will say, guys, around the Christmas time of year, this estate, which is known as the Westlands around here really, is absolutely beautiful. You get some lovely houses, some great lights and stuff like that, and my children used to absolutely love walking around here. Very safe, very friendly area. So I think if I get this walk right, there will be somewhere in the middle a church that we used to see, that was always lit up, and we used to hear carol singing and stuff. This lady hasn't defrosted her window, she can't see anything. Yeah, so all weathers we used to do this walk. It didn't matter if it was raining, snowing or sunny as hell, we'd be out doing this at night. Darcy would probably do this about 4 or 5 times a week, but we loved it. We just wrapped him up a bit warmer. Yeah, but the locals know this is the Westlands. And straight ahead now, I think we're not far off coming to where I used to turn into a little woodland area, and that's where the walk begins. And it's a bit more, it's just a nice pathway through the estate basically. You can see my shadow nicely there. Whee! I do believe it was somewhere near that yellow sign, which is probably quite hard to make out on the width of this camera footage. I can see that they've changed it to a 20-mile-an-hour speed limit for the schools. Another nice little road called the Grove. Traffic seems to have died down a bit here. So this is the woodland area I was talking about, and we've got a couple of dog walkers there. Let's try and get ahead of them. Don't want to disturb their morning walk. But here we go. This is one of the little woodland areas you can walk, and obviously you've got the houses either side, like this. I'm going to try and do this walk quite quickly, guys, because I can't remember how far it was. I do remember I used to do it most nights, like I've said, but I cannot remember how far at all. And I know, or I'm acutely aware, that I'm meant to start a course about 5 miles away in an hour. So hopefully it wasn't several miles long, but it definitely was far. I remember stopping all these benches with the children, sitting them down, having them jump off. And I do remember there's 2 or 3 of these little walkways through the estate, so it does go on for quite a way, and then you've got to make your way back to the shopping centre, shopping bit I started off at and make my way to the course. Quite a few dog walkers out today. They're not afraid of the cold, which of course in the Midlands and the North we're not. In the South, things were a bit different. This is short all year round territory. Oh, yep. There you go. So this is just another avenue of the estate. There we go. Up ahead I can see a little family taking their children to school, so there must be another school further down this road. If you have worked out where we are and you know Clayton really well, or the Westlands, and you know where they're off to, drop it in the comments. I don't know which school that was, but I know Friars Wood was a little bit further up from where we turned into the forestry area. Morning. Good to see we've still got bins and stuff around here, guys. We've got a couple of alleyways here funneling off further into the estate again. More children walking to school, which is good. So, from the comments that I've had, guys, and I want to thank you all for the comments and the appreciation for recognising what the local area has become. But it is important to notice that Stoke isn't all bad, you know. There's many, many good bits of Stoke, which one of today we are trying to venture into briefly. And it will give you some idea of the separation that we have as well in Stoke. You know, we do have some very poorer communities and some affluent ones like the Westlands. And of course there's other areas like this around the 6 pottery towns. But this one here, Clayton and Westlands, for me, was where our journey as a family began. And I've got loads of fond memories here with the children being little, and we used to play tennis in the club that's just down the road and things like that as well. That was great. But yeah, we're still doing this walk here. I've got to say, if this is the end of it and we have to turn left into the estate, it's quicker than I thought. So maybe as the years have gone by, I thought I was walking in further than I was. Mind you, he was very little. And Summer, bless her, at this point was too small to do it in the early years. When she got to 3 or 4 years old, she was fine, but she couldn't have done it at 6 months old, that's for sure. But yeah, I think we're coming to the end of the woodland part now, where we'll veer left into the estate. I'm not sure what these roads are called. If you do know, put them in the comments. Just here, I know we used to do a lot of snow building, snowmen and things like this. There's a big field all the way down here, which is good. It is a really beautiful morning, to be fair, guys. Really, really nice. You do see lots of people cycle down these paths, or at least you used to. I don't know if you still do. I haven't walked down here in probably a decade. But yeah, lots of people pushing buggies, things like that. And funny enough, that's just happened right in front of me. We've got a jogger behind me now, I believe, which is very good to see. Here we go. One in. There she goes. So this park is used for lots of different things, and obviously a way to connect you from which sort of part of the estates you live on. Obviously you can't drive through here, that would be silly. But as you can see, some of the houses are very nice. And as I said, come Christmas time, it really was a beautiful place. There's not much else down here apart from this nice little walkway and the estate. The shops where I started were basically all I know around here, or I would venture to. A little bit further away, when we do the Newcastle video, I will show you Morrison's, VUE and stuff like that, and that's where obviously the main shopping would take place for most of the people that live around here. But those little shops obviously provide, or did provide, some sort of use when you run out of basics, rather than going to do a big shop. But as you can see, they've changed over the years, probably many times I dare say, and you've got different kind of things going on there now. Interesting thing would be to note is I wonder how much or how long they had to take to get the planning permission to have a bar there, or whatever that's classed as, a restaurant, bar, I'm not sure. But yeah, here in the Westlands, some nice houses, lovely cars. These won't be cheap. Even houses like this, you're probably looking at 300,000 plus because of the area. I should have worn gloves today, guys. It is a bit chilly. Morning. Morning. As you can see, guys, quite a few people walking around. Another dog walker up ahead. For a lot of people, of course, like I said earlier on, this is the school run. This is the time where they get their children off to school, either go back to work or go home to do all the chores, maybe work from home, that sort of thing. How many of you in the comments have walked around here or know the Westlands or Clayton itself? I know that a bit further on from the Westlands, guys, I'm fully aware that there's a bigger area of Clayton. But for today, this is just about how I started in Newcastle and my family journey, really, more than anything else. We could venture right here, I don't know. Or do we venture straight on? Let's go straight on today. Just trying to trace our way back to those shops, guys, and the walk that I would have done when mine were little nippers. Again, this road at Christmas time used to look absolutely lovely, and my kids used to thoroughly enjoy looking at the houses. I know the larger side of Clayton, which is about a mile or so behind where we are now, is, well, huge. And it's got different pubs in. I know I used to play against them in the pool league, which was very nice, but I only ventured there a few times, so that's going to be a bit of a new one for me when we go to do it. Aha! Excellent. So, we have stumbled across what I mentioned earlier on about the Christmas lights and things. This is where I used to see, or hear rather, the choir singing at Christmas time and things like that. And just over here we have what was the church. We used to go and light a candle for the people we've lost in our family at New Year's Eve. Have a little thought for them. So that was nice. The children used to love it here. What's it called now? Let's have a look. Maybe it was still called that. I can't pronounce that Muslim saying there. We'll come back to it in a minute. Let's have a look. Oh right, that's interesting, isn't it? So now we have on this sign the Newcastle Under Lyme Islamic Centre and a car park, Pilkington Avenue, Newcastle. It's just here. like I said, when I used to bring the kids around here walking, this was, and as far as I'm aware, a Christian churchy area, especially this place here. But I used to hear carol singing and stuff all the time here, so that's very strange to see. I guess times have changed. More dog walkers out, and some renovations on a house. Now I know my children used to get a bit excited here. I know you're not going to quite see yet, but there's a building here on the corner, right in this bright sunlight that you probably can't see anything through. But we used to see a squirrel here or a rabbit every single time we walked, and they used to get really excited about seeing that. Bless them. Don't think they care so much now. They are in their late teens, all grown up. That light is harsh today, so I'm sorry if the footage is a bit off because of it, guys. That's one thing I'd like to note, actually. I do have, guys, I'm trying to struggle to see. I'm going to move over across the road, so maybe I can have a bit less light in my face like that. I do have lots more camera gear, guys, that I could be using. I have a Sony a7 III and some decent lenses and things like that I could be using to record and do things like this and vlogs, and the video quality would be way better. But for some of the areas that I'll be going into, for me, it's just not worth the risk. I had a time in Fenton, which will be a video that's coming up once, that I was mugged while doing photography in one of the streets, if I'm honest. About 5 lads, all of Asian descent, came out of their houses and told me I couldn't take pictures in the street. They owned the street. One of them had his hands behind his back. Looked like he had, or it was at least attempting to make me believe he had a knife on him. And they took my camera off me. The police were called. Somehow the police actually did a very good job, and within about 20 minutes time they traced these guys down and they'd got my camera back and things like that. But for that reason alone, guys, I am not venturing out with expensive equipment. I'm just coming out with, well, this. Obviously in the Westlands here, I probably could have been absolutely fine, but still, it's better to just have a few £100 worth of gear rather than carrying around something that's costing thousands. It's just not safe sometimes now, and that's the reality of some areas of Stoke-on-Trent, unfortunately. I can cross back over, I think now. The sun is ahead of me regardless. I do believe if we've timed or got this walk right, that just up ahead there'll be another school eventually that I did try to get our children into. We didn't in the end, but it worked out better because the school we actually got them into was fantastic, so my children love going there. And that brings me on to another good point about Stoke-on-Trent that some people won't see or believe, really, I guess. If you're born in Stoke, I seem to be acutely aware that people don't generally like the area that much. They don't think they've got a lot, but the irony is they do. They have way much more than I remember growing up in Essex. You've got more parks up here, you've got more things to do, activities, you've got water world and stuff like that, which will come on in later videos. But you've got skate parks galore, like in Hammond, Central Forest Park and things like that. You have got a lot to do here, guys, which quite frankly, when I grew up in Essex, you had nothing. A park for us was a slide, a swing, and maybe you get bored and go to the beach, you know, and there's only so many times you can do that a year. So I think sometimes you can oversee what you actually have. And I also remember that I couldn't get both my children into school in Essex. And I mean school, I mean the same school. That was a complete nightmare for me and my wife at the time, God rest her soul. We would have to be at 9 AM in 2 different places across the town, and then again at 3, which made work almost impossible. It was really hard. Paid a big financial part on our lives and put us in a lot of strain, basically. Times have changed, obviously things are different now, but we're in Stoke. When we actually landed in Stoke, when we came back in about 2013, something like that, we had a 3-year gap, but we got both kids in the same school within a week, you know, back to normal life. It was fantastic. So there are a lot of positives in Stoke that aren't or haven't been mentioned thus far, but we will get into them another day, of course. Go on. Morning. Morning. He was hugging on for dear life, wasn't he? Bless him. cold today. So this, I must have got this right then, because I can see people walking towards what must be a school. It just goes to show, guys, the human brain, it doesn't forget, does it? You can remember some things like this as if it's yesterday. But Darcy would still be walking now, bless him. He would still be cracking on. He wouldn't be moaning, he'd be running along the road in all weathers, he wouldn't care. Yeah, so just up here on the right is the other school that we did try to get our children into, but we couldn't at the time. We're not going to venture that way because I am going to start pushing back towards the shops, which are only about a mile away. Oh, yep. We'll walk across the grass. So as you can see, or maybe not see because of the harsh sunlight, there's a gate here. That's the school. And all this field here is what a lot of children play on after school, which is obviously pretty cool. The ground's pretty firm today. I am wearing different clothes, guys. I had to record the intro at a different time. I planned on doing the video all at once, but something came up, adult life, and I had to get back to doing those things. I would bring people up here from Essex and we play football on this green for hours with my children. Absolutely hours, and it's a beautiful, beautiful green. You don't get many places like this in Essex, let's say that. Although there's lots of countryside and stuff by the beach where we were, it wasn't like this. These little areas that you have all over Stoke, Burslem Park, Tunstall Park, you've got a few, you know, Hanley Central Forest Park, you've got Westport Lake, you've got Rudyard Lake, you can go on. For a few miles outside of where we live here, you've got so much that you can do. You know, I'm standing in a third of what is this green. It is huge, guys. It's got to be like, what, 10 farmers' fields on average. I haven't intruded on a lot of the Westlands estate that I would like to have gone on, because I don't think it's right for me to show too many houses and streets down these places. You know, it's all right having a little browse for a walk that I used to do, but I don't want to start going videoing people's houses and that would be weird. Right, so here is a important place for me and the children, really. The shops that we parked at earlier on are just over here. You can probably see a light in the distance, maybe, I hope so. But there's a tree here, and this tree, me and the children used to walk to every sort of Halloween and fireworks night. And we used to walk here, set off a few fireworks and do sparklers. And my son, bless him, he used to name it the whoosh bang tree. So we used to walk and get our sparklers and stuff in Newcastle, come up here, and we'd sit here after letting them off a few, not too late at night, sort of 6, 7 p.m. And they would light sparklers and they would love it. Sometimes we'd do the entire walk, get back to the whoosh bang tree, and then we'd light some sparklers and we'd just get off home just down here. And that would pretty much conclude the walk. Another dog walker, look, beautiful. This brings you back out onto, I do believe it is Clayton Road. I said that at the start of the video. I hope I'm right on that, guys. If I'm not, please correct me in the comments. I could walk along the road here, just out this entrance, but I think to finish the video, I'm going to walk up this bit here a little bit safer, as I'll be facing the other way. So guys, that's a little introduction into about how I ended up in Stoke and our family. And it's my first visit at, say, what you would call one of the better and good areas. You know, we're going to visit into Newcastle town, I think, in the next few days, hopefully, depending on my work schedule. And we'll do a good video on that, because Newcastle still is clawing on to what Stoke was, Hanley, places like that, and it's got a lot of good still in Newcastle. They have the markets and things like that, boot sales, and I think I would honestly say Newcastle probably the last surviving town that's decent in Stoke, but there are other good areas. So what I would like in the comments is, if you've enjoyed this little one, I know it's a bit different from what I've been doing, to tell me in the comments other good areas that you think are worth showing to people, show the good side of Stoke. I'm going to be venturing out to other areas, guys. I'm not just going to be doing Stoke-on-Trent. I'm going to be doing wherever I go and see, really. It'll be interesting. I haven't been to Liverpool and Manchester a lot, so I'm going to venture up there. I haven't been to Leeds, places like that. I'm going to have a little bit of look around. And yeah, just see where it takes me really. But this has been interesting so far doing this, so I'm going to keep it up. I really like doing it. But if you can fill me with some ideas in the comments, or even shed me some light on what's going on around the area. If you know this area better than I do, I only lived here for about 3 years, but I thoroughly enjoyed it, you know. Right, I am back at the shops where my car is parked, so that's basically going to conclude this video, guys. I will see you in the next one, which I think is either going to be Fenton or Newcastle, depending on my time and work schedule, guys, okay? Until the next one, peace, guys. See you later. Take care of yourselves.